Welcome to Amir Shakil 5858, the War and Love Report. I am Amir Goodname. Tonight there is a desperate and intensifying search for the missing on Maui. Right now they number nearly 1,000 people. At least 80 are confirmed dead, with that number expected to rise. Today fire crews battle flames still burning from wildfires that ravage parts of the island. Over the historic town of Lahaina, the scene is simply apocalyptic. Most buildings torch, some still smoldering. The inferno destroyed much of the town, everything, and the fortunate who escaped the flames are sharing their stories of survival but also of confusion. Many people are returning home today for the first time since this fire hit, and they will face absolute heartbreak. The reporters who had past few days in town, they saw entire neighborhoods that were leveled, and of the homes that still stand, they overlook this field of ash. That search teams tonight are now coming through, looking for the missing. Anxiety and frustration as bumper-to-bumper traffic stretched miles on the Rio Pro highway to Lahaina. Residents who were allowed through confronted devastation at the end of the road and what the governor calls the worst natural disaster in Hawaii's history. She said it's the only thing we have now. Whose day massive fire ripped through Lahaina, turning 80% of the town to ash. There was chaos and confusion. Emergency sirens were not activated, and those in town only fled when the flames were on their heels. A resident says that he is just heartbroken after seeing all this devastation. He said it's crazy to come back and see everything differently. This resident's house was still standing, but still surrounded by entire neighborhoods that were leveled. He said the whole town it's not the same, you know. It's not even see him in here now. Now the state attorney general announcing a comprehensive review of the critical decision making made before, during and after the disaster hit. Along with no sirens, residents here said the power had been cut off, meaning they had no access to radio or to television. They also say they never received a single text alert. Officials say the power was never turned off, but likely knocked out by the wind. It's unclear if a spark ignited the blaze. It was fight or flight with no warning whatsoever. Officials say the majority of the confirmed dead were trapped while fleeing on foot. Tonight, state and federal teams are combing through neighborhoods of ash, looking for the remains of those who, without warning, never left their homes. And the question remains tonight, and is one will continue to ask until county officials answer them. Why wasn't this community evacuated sooner? Right now, still hundreds of people are still unaccounted for. Maui is struggling not just with the immense devastation but also a staggering economic toll. Tourism accounts for nearly 80% of the island's income, and the damage estimate could top $5.5 billion. According to a reporter, Maui survives on tourism, so it's unusual to hear an order for people to get out. And for those who live here, so many have lost everything to these wildfires, including their livelihoods. Lahaina was a magnet for tourists, and the dollars they spent were the economic lifeblood of this once thriving town, which lies in ruin. This week, the visitors who normally flock to Maui were part of an exodus. The Kahuli airport jammed with people trying to get out. It was just, you want to get out of here. It was unbelievable, according to a tourist. A visitor says she had a lifelong attachment to Maui. Her family's taken trips here every year from California for more than 3 decades. This one ended with an evacuation that lasted 30 hours in a small rental car. Was there any point that you were scared? A reporter asked. The visitor says, yes, they were. There was that long line of cars, and I have to get out as soon as possible, according to a visitor. The visitor says the Lahaina has completely destroyed. Now we have to rebuild it. A visitor says, we always come here with happiness, but now it's all changed. We are scared of these people, this place. The visitor says he used to go to gelato shop, bakery shop and other general store items to ABC store, but they all have burned out. This wildfire has put fear in the people's heart. One official said Maui had won nearly 1.5 million visitors in first half of the year. That's a third of all the tourists coming to Hawaii in that time, and they spent nearly $3.5 billion. So along with the all other damage here on Maui, those tourist dollars are going to be a huge loss. Weather has played a critical role in Maui. Let's see. Let's hear the Leonard Charles, a meteorologist from the Weather Channel.
Thanks, Adriana. Yes, we are going to continue to watch what's going on across Maui as we do have that forecast here, the recovery forecast, as we do have sunshine, dry conditions out there. We will have a few more clouds as we work our way into the middle of the week. As we go through the rest of today, though, we're going to be watching what's happening across the Northeast because we do have that Torcon of a 3 and a 2. There is a number there, so there is a risk. So we do have the potential for some of those tornadoes. As we move through the rest of the evening time frame, we have 3 areas that we're really watching as we go through the overnight time frame, up to the north and east, down off towards the south, and back off towards the west, as we do have the potential for damaging gusty winds to work their way in through the area, and also we're watching some hail as well as some tornadoes. And then we talk about that heat that's going to be on tap as we go into your tomorrow. We're talking about that heat indices in the teens once again, and this is going to extend on up to the Pacific Northwest as we head into early next week as well. So that dangerous heat, I should say, is really going to linger for a while, not going anywhere anytime soon.
There are floods in China due to rain. Heavy rain forced more than 80,000 people to evacuate from their homes in the southwest. In the west, Chinese news media said that 2 people are dead and 16 missing in mudslide. In East China, bracing for remnant of a typhoon. An inch and a half rain has forecast to call every hour. All of the rivers in the regions are already above the warning level. A migrant boat crossing the English Channel has capsized. leaving 6 people dead. 50 others rescued by British and French vessels and taken to Dover. More migrants are trying to crossing the English Channel because the weather is very milder now. British official says on Thursday 755 people crossed the channel in small boats. The post for the single day so far this year. And a 3-year-old child died on one of the bus which Texas is using for sending the migrants out of state. It happened on southern Illinois on way to Chicago. The Texas Division of Emergency Management said the bus pulled over and 911 was called as soon as the child's health problems became clear. It's the first death the Texas has announced in the Texas Governor program, busing the migrants and sending them to cities around the country which are controlled by Democrats. More than 30,000 migrants have been bussed out since the program began in April 2022. In Iowa, all of the Republicans running for president hit the state fair, including former President Trump. There is another indictment maybe coming soon for Mr. President, former President Trump. Trump on Saturday said that when a question asked, did you, Mr. President, former President, wanted to overturn the 2020 elections? Mr. Trump said, you know the answer. One critic says he is facing his potential fourth indictment. This one in Fulton County, Georgia. An Atlanta prosecutor could be looking at filing state charges against Trump and allies over the alleged efforts to overturn his 2020 loss in Georgia. Jeff Duncan, the former lieutenant governor, confirmed today he will appear before a grand jury on Tuesday. Trump said he will certainly answer whatever question put in front of me. Reporter asked, is there any chance you take a plea deal in Georgia? He said, we did nothing wrong. Reporter says it comes just one day after a DC judge overseeing his pending criminal trial for alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 election warned Trump not to create a carnival atmosphere. Trump said he hated to say that they did much better in 2020. The election was rigged. Reporter says the judge placing a protective order on the 2024 GOP frontrunner to not reveal sensitive materials related to his case. The most recent New York Times polls of Iowa Republicans giving Trump the clear caucus lead. His GOP rivals here today as well and taking shots at the former president for not supporting a pledge to support whoever becomes the GOP nominee. Republican hopeful Swami said, it's not just about the you. You have got to be willing to stand up and support the team. Dark horse candidate Ramaswamy continuing to lay his own beat. Quote, snap back to reality. Oh, there goes. A dangerous close call again between two flights. It happened this time at San Diego when a jet flew closely above the another flight. that was about to take off. Tower said go around, fly to public. Missed approach. Pilot said going around. 4 Alpha Victor. Cessna Citation business jet. Trying to land right over Southwest Airlines Boeing 737. Although it's not exactly clear how close those two aircrafts came to close. FAA said that the controller had previously cleared the Citation 2 to land on runway 27 and then instructed Southwest Flight 2493 to taxi onto that runway and wait for instructions to depart. Today, a disaster struck in a suburban Pittsburgh. House exploded, setting the nearby on fire. One person has died and some are unaccounted for. The cause of the blast is under investigation. A fire, possibly caused by lightning, has destroyed a residential building. None of the inhabitants were injured. Only one firefighter was critically injured. He is in. Thanks for watching and privilege of your time. This is Amir Shakil 5858. I'm a good man. Thank you.